Hey guys, it's JD Vance, the vice president. And you know, there was so much excitement around Usha's visit to Greenland this Friday that I decided that I didn't want her to have all that fun by herself. And so I'm going to join her.
Oh, I'm sure that makes it way more fun for Usha. But anyway, before we get to Usha, who becomes sort of the main subject of this whole Greenland trip thing, I do want to acknowledge that it is very funny. Can we put that B-roll of him back up? Because I think it's awesome that he is now doing cosplay of Trump. Like he's got the Trump red tie that I've never seen him wear before. But more importantly, let me ask you a question, JD. Is it a good sign that 2 months into the term, you still have to remind people that you're the vice president? I would hope they'd know that at this point, but probably a good clarification. Now, what he's talking about there is a trip where his wife, Usha, was gonna go to Greenland as part of the propaganda effort to get American conservatives fired up for America to conquer Greenland or whatever. All of this is a series of sentences I never would have expected I'd need to say, but these are the wild times we live in. So anyway, then they decided they're gonna send him too. Now, I don't know if that makes the trip better or whatever, but it suffered some setbacks, I would say. So apparently they were due to visit a US military base on Greenland's northwest coast. So that's what they're gonna do. Again, remember, we have military bases in Greenland. So when they say we have to conquer Greenland for national security, we already have bases there and in most of the countries of the world. Just bear that in mind. What they wanted to do though was something more social. They wanted to have Usha do sort of like a goodwill tour through the households of Greenland and meet people, many of whom I'm sure are just screaming to be conquered by the American empire. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. See, there was a lot of anger initially over this part of the trip. And apparently both Greenlanders and Danes, they didn't like that they weren't consulted on this. The government of Greenland said it had, quote, not extended any invitations for any visits, neither private nor official. So that's one thing, but it gets funnier when a correspondent for Danish channel TV2 reported that US representatives had gone around, quote, knocking on one door after another in recent days to ask if they would welcome a visit from Usha Vance. Quote, everywhere the answer was the same, no, thank you. And so, like, she is still the second lady, but again, like if it was just a goodwill tour and they hadn't been threatening conquering, I'm sure you would have had some people in Greenland who would be happy to have them over. But when they realize that it's just a pretext to produce some videos to put out on Twitter or whatever of like two people saying, yes, crush us under your boot, America. No, I don't think most people are gonna be interested in that. And especially once it's announced, as it was in that video, that JD would be coming along, I'm sure anyone who was even considering a visit probably called it off at that point. Brett, what do you make of this?
Here's the thing. I want more American territories. I can't deny that that's somewhere in my bones. I have no idea. I want to expand my empire. I want my flag flying on all kinds of stuff. But like, I don't need Greenland. Like it would be hilarious if suddenly we added Greenland, which is like so far away and like covered in ice. But we don't need it. And it's so creepy how far the administration is willing to go with this bit. Like I thought it is a bit. Like this is a bit. I hope they know that the whole thing is just a bit. Stop sending emissaries. The whole thing, JD, is just a trick to get you the hell out of there. You understand that? Like Usha may be asking just, I need a vacation from this guy. They're sending him with that creepy front hands walker.
Yep.
I have a video on my TikTok of him walking like this. This is how he walks instead of like putting. It's a weird, like we saw him walk into a Walgreens with her. I was like, who's this perfectly normal person? And who's this, stop motion animation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Yeti walking in? And that was him. It's horrifying. Yeah. His eyes are the scariest thing I've ever seen in person. Let her have a vacation without you.
Yeah.
But like all the text, the parts of the signal text that were like, yo, maybe we shouldn't bomb these people. Maybe that's why they're sending JD. Get out.
Yeah. So anyway, look, I hope that all of this, I'm sure there's some people that are like, guys, this is still just a distraction. And I really hope it is. And I suspect that it still is. But I don't know, man, some wild stuff's happened the last 2 months. Would you really be shocked to find out that like 5,000 Marines had landed in Greenland or whatever? I wouldn't necessarily. And so if we cover this off and on for the next 4 years and then we get to, Trump loses or whatever in his bid for a third term and we haven't conquered Greenland, I will consider that a victory and I won't mind having paid attention to it. In the meantime, Trump says that the US will go, quote, as far as we have to get control of Greenland. And I just want to point out how fun it is. We didn't end up playing this clip of Charlie Kirk earlier, where he's attacking other people that are attacking Pete Hegseth. And he says, they're warmongers and you hate that Pete Hegseth isn't a warmonger. Next up on the Charlie Kirk show, let's conquer Greenland. Oh, we gotta take Greenland and Panama and Gaza. Let's ethnically cleanse that. Oh, and maybe we'll invade Canada. They'd make a good 51st state. Like, could you guys figure out, do you want an American empire or don't you? Who is actually trying to conquer territory?